Hello and welcome to another ASMR reading video. First off, I apologise for the microphone. I'm currently using this headset microphone here, which is less than ideal. I'm saving for a decent microphone to use. But I will do the remainder of this video in whisper, and if I'm happy with the result, I may go up to some deep stuff in further videos. But until then, we'll be reading A Children's Treasury of Milligan, which is by the author Spike Milligan, and all the information's on the cover here, really, classic stories and poems. Yeah. So I've had this book since I was a very small child. I remember laughing at the many illustrations and silly stories that were in it. So I'm very fond of this book in general. I need to skip past this page as it has my name on. So A Children's Treasury of Milligan. So very briefly, this is Spike Milligan. Let me just move this out of the way. He was 81 at this time of this book, which was it? 1999. Wow, I'm not sure when this book was published. But he certainly had a very child-friendly sense of humour, which was nice. It's a silly verse for the kids. Most of the poems were written to amuse my children. Some were written as a result of things they said in the home. No matter what you say, my kids think I'm brilliant. From Spike Milligan. So that's nice. I don't know if you can pick up any of the page turning. So this first story, sorry I did a big sigh then, I need to watch that. I will read through here as if these are your bedtime stories, so I want you to, however you are, if you're sitting in a chair or you're laying in your bed, just go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if you want, or you can read along with me, but I want these to be a nice relaxing video for you, and to remind you of your childhood a little bit where possible. So please, just relax and tuck yourself in with your duvet, get a nice blanket. The weather's quite cold here, it's cooling down for winter, so it's nice to snuggle up with a hot drink and a blanket, and to listen to a nice story at bedtime. So I will do a few pages in this first video, and when I feel I've done enough, we'll stop there and I will resume this in another video. I have another 2 books which may be of interest to you, but we'll get to them as and when. So look at all those monkeys. Look at all those monkeys jumping in their cage. Why don't they all go out to work and earn a decent wage? How can you say such silly things? Are you a son of mine? Imagine monkeys travelling on the modern Edgware line. And what about the Pekingese? They have an allocation. Don't travel during peak hour, it says on every station. My gosh, you're right, my clever boy. I never thought of that. And so they left the monkey house, while an elephant raised his hat. There's a small illustration below of the elephant with the top hat. String. String is when she went out of doors. She went out standing up, she did, but came back on all fours. The moral of the story: please meditate and pause. Never send a baby out with loosely waisted drawers. Can you see that? She went out and her trousers fell down, so she had no choice but to crawl home. This looks like a fun one. Tell me, little woodworm. Tell me, little woodworm, eating through the wood. Surely all that sawdust can't do you any good. Heavens, little woodworm, you've eaten all the chairs. So that's why poor old Grandad's sitting outside on the stairs. There's a nice illustration here. A fairly obscure illustration. I'm not sure what this little guy is. Maybe he's the woodworm. It doesn't look very worm-like though. Just shining a light for Grandpa to read on the stairs. So this next one I've not read for a long time. It's called Hippo-Rhinoceri Cow. Such a beast is the Hippo-Rhinoceri cow. How it got so mixed up, we'll never know how. It sleeps all day and whistles all night, and it wears yellow socks which are far too tight. If you laugh at the Hippo-Rhinoceri cow, you're bound to get into an awful row. The creature is protected, you see, from silly people like you and me. And you can see that firstly this creature's in a tree, which is odd enough, but also it's got elements of a hippo, a rhinoceros, and a cow, and it seems to have a washing line strung up on its own head with some pieces of clothing and what looks like a gnome's head. There's also a harp between its neck, so it must be a musical creature. It's very strange. I've never felt finer. I've never felt finer, said the King of China, sitting down to dine. Then he fell down dead. He died, he did. It was only 9:30. Goodness me. This poor King of China has died. Even this pig that he was going to be eating is sad for him. How very strange. This is a very short story, a short poem. Said the general. This guy looks Scottish. Said the general of the army, I think that war is balmy. So he threw away his gun. Now he's not having much. Now he's having much more fun. Sorry about that. He looks like he's having fun, but I'm not sure how long he'll last with these mortars whistling in on him. Although I guess it's much better to have fun in life and die sooner in a way than being bored and doing something you hate and having a long life. But I guess that's a matter of opinion, really. It'd be interesting to know what some other people think. saw a bee go into a hive. They'd never seen a bee before, so waited there to see some more. And sure enough, along there came a dozen bees, and all the same. Within the hive they buzzed about, then one by one they all flew out. Said four, those bees are silly things, but how I wish I had their wings. And there's the small children right down here looking up. It must have been difficult to see such small bees going into a hive all the way up here. And also there's steps outside the hive, and the bee's got a propeller where its sting should be. This guy had quite the imagination. Granny. Through every nook and every cranny, the wind blew in on poor old Granny. Around her knees, into each ear, and up her nose as well, I fear. All through the night the wind grew worse. It nearly made the vicar curse. The top had fallen off the steeple, just missing him and other people. Somebody in the steeple. It blew on man, it blew on beast, it blew on nun, it blew on priest. It blew the wig of Auntie Fanny, but most of all, it blew on Granny. And there's poor Granny outside in the wind being pushed along in a wheelchair. It must have been quite a gale to push the top off the church steeple. I should just check. I'll do another couple of pages. So hello, jolly guardsmen. Shall I try and do this in a London accent? Hello, jolly guardsmen. In your scarlet coat, it reaches from below your tum to halfway up your throat. Tell me, jolly guardsmen, when you're off parade, what kind of clothes do you put on? Civvies, I'm afraid. That was probably the worst London accent. But there you can see the guard in his guardhouse, which is perfectly fitted around his giant hat and his gun, which has its own roof. That's quite cute. But he's standing guard, tirelessly. Thumbs up. This looks interesting. Before we read, you can see a person fishing, and a person laying on the fishing line over here, which has hooked a giant TV or aquarium, which has some steam coming out of it in the starter pedal. It's interesting. There's like a face. How bizarre. There's also a stool or something. Today I saw a little worm. Maybe that's a worm. Today I saw a little worm wriggling on its belly. Perhaps it'd like to come inside and see what's on the telly. Well then, I guess that this worm is watching the TV, and there's nothing to do with the fishing rod at all. Goodness me. Would you offer a worm inside to watch telly? I imagine I did as a child. I remember my dad digging up the vegetable patch at the bottom of the garden and spotting all the worms and picking them out of the soil as a typical young boy. And this final page, we have teeth and can a parrot. Sorry if you picked wind up those stomach rumbles. I've not had lunch yet. Teeth. English teeth, shining in the sun. A part of British heritage, I, each and every one. English teeth, happy teeth, always having fun. Clamping down on bits of fish and sausages half done. English teeth, heroes' teeth, hear them click and clack. Let's sing a song of praise to them. 3 cheers for the brown, grey and black. You can see an illustration here of a knight on his steed with a jousting pole and a shield which has teeth on too, and a hat, a tree on his helmet with a ladder. How bizarre. And someone riding along next to him with a saucepan on his head and cans on his feet and a dustbin lit shield. And then behind him, what even is that? He's got a kettle on his head and one wheel instead of a leg. And then there's this fellow over here waving at something unknown. I'm not fully sure I get the whole English teeth stereotype, but still. And finally, can a parrot, here's the parrot, with his boots on of course, can a parrot eat a carrot standing on his head? If I did that, my mum would send me straight upstairs to bed. I'm sure she would. It's probably quite dangerous, you might choke. It depends how well you chew it. Which a parrot's not going to do very well without teeth. So I'll continue this story another time. I'll forward over these so I know where I left off. That's the treasury of Milligan. I hope that you've enjoyed this bedtime story.